Let's face it, there's a lot you don't know about sickle cell disease.
Like that it affects almost all races.
Like that it affects millions.
That it can be unbearable.
That it's the most common genetic blood disease in the country.
But awareness and understanding are still far too uncommon.
Let's face it, there's a lot you don't know about sickle cell disease.
And that's a disease too.
Call the 211 info line to learn more.
Welcome back. We are having a conversation with Miss Evelyn Richard, and it's been great just having you participate on this segment, this episode. I would like to change the direction in where we've been discussing about sickle cell disease and talk about some of the work that you've been doing on your own in terms of encouraging young people to get more involved with the organization, things that's going on in the community. And I want you to share some of your thoughts on what you see happening with the younger people living with sickle cell disease.
First of all, I try to talk to the young ones that's like, 18, they come from children's hospital into adult medicine. And they always have the question to me as how I look. I don't look like I have sickle cell anemia. In other words, I don't look sick. And I tell them that's all in how you take care of yourself. And you must enjoy life too. Feed the spirit in whichever way, through church or whichever way that's comfortable for you. But I let them know how to take care of themselves. And you have one problem we do have is depression, and depression sets in when you're young and you certain things you can't do, and you see your friends enjoying life and you have to do things in, like you said, moderation. And you just have to find your own space in this world and your own beat. I must say, you can't go by what your friends doing and stuff because you're sick. So because you're sick, that don't mean you have to stay in the bed and you take your medicine and all you want to do is sleep. And a lot of them do that. They just take their medicine and sleep. They whirl away and they 20 years old, you know. So I try to tell them, you know, get involved in something. A lot of them have into art and stuff like that, different parts, things in art. Whatever your thing is, get into it, and that'll get your mind off of you and your sickness.
And that's exactly what I've heard from another person who came on this show who was speaking about, you know, there's a lot of things that people living with sickle cell can do, and they don't have to use their physical body so much, but they can use their minds and their hands to do certain things that are just as you know, exciting as somebody playing football or basketball or whatever that might be. And so the young people that you have encountered, and certainly I have as well, I know there's something that I have encountered where people feel sometimes ashamed to let other people know they have sickle cell disease. And it's not something that they have to go out and announce to the world that they have it, but in the close circles that they might be in. I've even heard people say, well, even my friends, I haven't really shared it with my friends. And so when I'm missing, you know, I might be in the hospital, I might be home, they really don't know what's going on with me. So they've never seen them go through a crisis or through the pain episodes. What would you say in terms of, you know, you living all of your life and encountering so many people, how have you shared with people that you actually have sickle cell disease?
Well, on a personal tip, really, I just don't come out and announce it unless you around my family. My family is huge. So each one of us have our own friends, and not just me play instruments. I have other family members that play instruments. So we have bands in the house, and everybody got their thing going on. The house is busy. So if you around, you're gonna see my mother call 911 for an ambulance for me at some time. So my close friends know about it. I never told them, but by them just being around us, being raised with us, they seen what I go through. Far as school, you have to mention it to the school. But just to come out and my first time meeting you, just to come out and say I have sickle cell anemia, I don't do that. But I'm not ashamed of it. I mean, if you ask me, I'm going to tell you everything about it. Because it's important that you know, because you might have somebody in your family with the disease. And I might have some information that might help that person, or you might have some information for me, you know. But you have to, as far as the part, it hurts my heart to know that they're embarrassed. You shouldn't be embarrassed. This sickness is just like your arm. It's going to be with you from the day you born to the day you die, unless they find a cure between that time. But right now, and there's no cure in place for us. So, you know, don't feel, I want to say to the people out there with this disease, never feel embarrassed about it. You should get out there and speak about it to help other people with this disease, you know, especially young people, because I was young and depressed and I had no one. Now we have organizations and people in place for us to go to and talk about our issues, what's going on in our world that might make us stress out and end up putting us in a hospital. And you should talk about it to the day you die, really. Don't feel embarrassed about it. I try to tell them that because your job is to help the next person. And that's what I would love to help the teenagers that having children early and know they have the trait, but they don't make sure they have their partner checked before they have sex. And it's important for the young people out there with this, with the trait, to check their mate out first. Make sure their mate don't have this disease, so you don't bring a precious baby coming in this world screaming and hollering in so much pain that it breaks your heart, you know. So and that part is hard. I don't know why people, us young people that I know, and other young people out there that I don't know, why they don't use condoms, I don't know. But they need to start paying attention to that, because this day in 2000 going on 14, we should not be having young babies coming in this world with this disease.
Well, I think it's so key that you're here today to speak on that, because right now really all we have is education and communication. We do have a cure. It's not a universal cure. We have the bone marrow transplantation, which of course, you know, you would have to have a full match or a half match to even be considered for that. But we know it's also a very risky procedure for people who might entertain wanting to go through that. And So the universal cure is what we're really seeking for in terms of that it affect more people, and that you wouldn't have to be chosen because you have a match or a half a match, but that it be a cure that will help the masses of people living with this disease. And I also want to share that we also have the newborn screening program. The newborn screening program started in 1990 in the state of Connecticut, and it was to test every baby, not just African American babies, but every baby, because the myth was that sickle cell only affected African Americans, but certainly we know that this is a global disease and that it has traveled all around the world, and that it could happen in your family and you not know it. Because of the intermingling of nations and ethnic groups, the disease has also traveled as well. So I would say that if you don't know your status, that you get to know your status. And Evelyn, I want to thank you again, because I think that when we talk about the young people who are having children and not considering the fact that they need to be asking some questions, that really needs to be a part of the daily living, is that we start to communicate with those that we consider our significant others and let them know. And we talked about the narcotics. I know that there are some very demeaning names that are attached to people who live with sickle cell, such as drug seekers and sicklers and frequent flyers and things like that. And those names are very, very demeaning. And so we're trying to also educate people that you cannot do that, because yes, there is a drug therapy and it's basically narcotics, but there's a lot of other things that people can do to decrease the pain crises. And we've been talking about hydroxyurea, which is another drug therapy that is being, introduced to a lot of people. A lot of people are now taking it. Some still don't know. So I would say, if you ever want to find out more about hydroxyurea, you can certainly contact UConn. We have a comprehensive adult comprehensive sickle cell clinic where Dr. Andamarian is the hematologist. It's an awesome clinic. And what would you say about UConn and the clinic at this time? I know you've been participating in some of the services there. What would you say to other people who might be looking for a place where they can get their services?
Well, I found out of the hospitals in our area that UConn is the best for patients with this disease, because they have a lot of things set in place that we need, so we can have a good and healthy daily life. We used to have problems with the emergency rooms in other areas of other hospitals, but UConn is set up in a way where you get sick and you come in, you get help right away. You don't sit in the emergency room. I don't ever remember me sitting in the emergency room waiting to be helped. You go right in and they give you your medicine and stuff like that, and they try to see if they can get it under control. But if they can't, then they'll put you right in the hospital so you can get better and more extensive medicine, so you can hopefully get better and get on out. I'm a patient that don't like to go in the hospital, so I do what I have to do as far as taking care of myself. But as soon as I get sick, I go right in. It's not a disease you should play around with. Soon you're not feeling well, you go right in and you get your help, because the longer you wait, the worse things are for you, and the longer you're going to be in the hospital.
And I found that that is one of the situations that we also have to do education on, is that we don't wait too long to seek the kind of help that we need, because that would mean sometimes you're in the hospital longer than you need to be. Well, I want to take the time to thank you so much for coming today and sharing your life, your journey with us. And I would like to thank the listening audience for participating today. I would also like to share with you that we have 2 offices serving the community, not only those with sickle cell, but those who are significant others and support systems to those who are living with this disease. We have an office in New Britain, located at the Hospital for Special Care, Research and Education Center, and we have one in Hartford at 880 Asylum Avenue. We also offer empowerment sessions for people to come out and just learn more about the disease. If you need to contact us, our number is 860-223-7222. You can also go to our website, which is www.cqscc.org. And if you need to venture out and call us at our Hartford office is 860-724-0664. We thank you so much for joining us today. You have just seen another episode of Face Sickle Cell Disease. We pray that you have a good day and that you join us again next time. Thank you.